So we have a control system, and this control system is a Kubernetes control with a pod of several containers in it, and we have a switch fabric. And we have a rack room where we're going to put sensitive information or sensitive assets into. These could be servers. These could be receivers that are receiving sensitive satellite information. These are a part of how we bring the video and audio to the floor, and we're going to place these objects into the rack room, and we're going to put our nodes next to these assets and connect the HDMI and the USB to before we connect it to the switch. So the first thing is I have a node, and the node is going to be running in FIPS mode so that it does a self-check as required by DoD and others. But that node is going to be checked off, and once it is, then it can connect to the control system and say, hey, I've got a FIPS node here. Now we'll get into the security levels in just a second here. But the idea is that the node, before it's connected to the switch and being acknowledged as a legitimate source, is running in a mode where I can connect to it via our PESA crypto module, and it says, hi, I'm here. Okay, great. We have another one? Yes, we do. We have a couple of more nodes here we're gonna hook up, and all of those guys are going to be running in FIPS mode. So we've acknowledged all of the sender nodes. On the floor, we're going to do the same. We're going to have listener nodes on this side, and we're going to make sure that that listener node is in fact running in FIPS mode. Okay, he's in FIPS mode. We're going to acknowledge this guy as a listener. And we're going to look and see if we've got any more in the floor to connect our nodes that are in the rack room to the nodes on the floor. Now, this is a very basic example and kind of born of a C2 type environment, but you could imagine other options that basically have the sensitive assets in one room and display stuff in the other room where you've got operators, right? Now, here's the key thing. We need to acknowledge that we have different folks that do different things, right? So we might have classified guys. So we need to match that with the node that has a classified setting. So we're going to mark this first guy here as classified. And we're going to note that he is in this tier of signals that will be considered classified. And we want to connect those to people authorized to see the classified signal. Now we're going to do that with all the nodes on both the rack room side and the floor side. So we have in this really simple example, we've got red C's for classified, we've got black U's for unclassified, and we've got yellow S's for secret, for example. So we got three basic tiers of security here, and we're going to come up with a policy where the upper tier can see the lower tiers. So I'm going to pick on this group of three over here. The officer that's sitting at this seat is cleared for secret, but he's authorized also to see some assets that are unclassified and some assets that are classified. Now, in other policies, only those classifications are connected to those. That could still be done. So, for example, this guy could be all classified and he only sees classified. It's pretty simple. But in a mixed environment where we're going to cross the domains, this policy at this particular agency or DoD install, and he's authorized to see the down lower ones. Again, our system is flexible enough to allow different policies. So now the other guy here, he's classified, and I've grouped these three together, and he's got two unclassified signals. Again, policy is that the upper class can see the lower class, so he's fine, but he needs a panel. So that panel has to be signed off. He's running in FIPS mode, and he's going to connect to the controller, and he knows what seat he's at because he's assigned maybe seat 23, and the officer that's logged into this is classified, and he's saying, I want to change my two nodes from an unclassified node to receiving classified nodes. In other words, I'm connected to see unclassified sources at these nodes, but that node is cleared to see other things. So he's going to make those changes. He's going to change those to classified, and away we go. Now, lots going on there, right? So the enclave is one group. It's set at a certain security level. and you have seats and assets that are at another level of security and have been defined as such. You have users who are using this information, and you've got fabric that's it's connected it all together with a control system, and it's deterministically connecting these security signals together. This whole piece here is really the basis for our provisional patent that we just filed.